Hey everyone, it's Wowous. We're here with a deck review from Hearthpwn. This deck is Bomberman Hunter Legend, and it's from Flagma. Interesting name. And so we're playing this today pretty much as posted on the site. You can see the deck list over here on the right. The one difference is I had to switch out. I didn't have a 9 life, so I threw in a Cybertech Chip. Some different folks down in the comments posted that was a potential change if you didn't have 9 lives. And 9 lives, what it does, if you're not familiar, that's discover a friendly death rattle minion that also died this game and trigger its death rattle. I think it could be a good addition. I don't know that I want to craft it right this second, and so I'm going to wait and see if I actually need it. But we're going to try it out without 9 lives, and that's really the only change. We're going against a warrior deck here, so that's super fun, and we'll see what we can have happen here. Hope you all are enjoying the Rise of the Shadows expansion. I know that I am. I was thinking a lot about it this morning in terms of, I talked about it in my last video. I think it kind of falls in the middle of the pack for me in terms of expansions that they put out. What I think is interesting, actually very interesting, is that there are very few legendaries that are seeing a lot of play right now. If you look at HS Replay, which is a great site that kind of shows you statistics in terms of like who's playing what and which cards are popular and all that. I think I want to do that. Right? Trade for him. Yeah. So there really aren't any legendaries that are seeing a lot of play, with the exception of the warrior legendaries. So pretty much all the warrior legendaries are seeing a lot of play, and I think that's because you're seeing a lot of warrior. Crypt Stack is pretty much the #1 deck right now. Do this and this and this, and so it makes sense. But the other decks, you really don't see. I'm going to pull it up here real quick. In terms of legendaries and what's getting played, but there just isn't a lot that's getting played right now from a legendaries perspective, which I think is actually good for the game, right? Because the fewer legendaries I have to buy, the better. That was an interesting play on his part. Let's see, I guess I might track here. Oh boy. I guess Celiacs. I think we just kind of hold off and wait. Yeah, so there really aren't any legendaries that are seeing a ton of play from this expansion. I'm going to pull up real quick use in deck right now. So in terms of legendaries, Ziliax is getting used in about 50% of decks. So he is the legendary to have right now. If you don't have him, craft him. He's #1. He's really the legendary that you need to own if you don't have him as of yet. He's not that useful right now. I think I'm going to do this into Boommaster. And then #2 is Dr. Boom, which I think makes a lot of sense because he adds so much endgame potential, and that's really the challenge that like this type of hunter deck is going to have against this type of warrior deck, is that you don't have the Deathstalker Rexar anymore for that endgame. So if you can't win pretty quickly, if he can get to Dr. Boom, you're in pretty deep trouble. And then the #3 legendary that's used right now is Captain Greenskin, which is that is the basic or classic, I should say, legendary that gives your weapon +1/+1, which can combo very nicely with the Wrench Caliber. So all in all, it's been a very interesting expansion in that you're not really seeing like, of course, right? He drops it, and it's literally the first card I pick up. So very interesting in terms of that. Now I think I have a good potential here, right, to do this. I'm thinking I want to, so I can either, yeah, so I think I want to do this, and then poisonous this. But yeah, what you see is you're not seeing a lot of legendaries get used. Even if you go down the list, the next couple after Ziliax, Dr. Boom, and Captain Greenskin is Blastmaster Boom. Here's Dr. Boom, as we were just talking about him. Blastmaster Boom, which obviously combos very nicely with this bomb deck. Edwin Van Cleef, which is the rogue, legendary, and then Archmage Vargoth. And he's seeing a lot of use because everyone has him, right? So it just makes sense from a statistical standpoint that you're going to see him a lot. Oh, and Leroy Jenkins, I forgot to mention, is seeing a lot of use right now. Obviously, I'm using him, but especially in the type of meta where there isn't a lot, there isn't a lot of power. You want to try to get the enemy hero down pretty quickly, and then Leroy. So Leroy always sees a lot of use at the start of each year because there's just not a lot. There's fewer and fewer cards, and Leroy always kind of comes back up to the top of the pile when you lose those two, that 1 year of cards when the rotation happens. So a very interesting expansion thus far, and I just wanted to give again some of my thoughts around it. I think it's actually a pretty good expansion for that first expansion, and I would expect to see the next expansion be just kind of absurd in terms of whatever it offers, and we don't know what that will be yet, but I would hope to see maybe some new heroes. Because I think that's really lacking, especially where you got like a Warriors have Dr. Boom, and like that to me is why this Warrior deck is so powerful right now. Is that it just has that late game that no other deck really has at the moment, and he's getting really good bomb draws here on me, so that's not super helpful. All right. We're just going to keep driving at him and see what we can do. We can get quite a bit of damage here with Leroy in Defender, or, we Mechathune. I don't think I'm going to make it to Mechathune, but at least it's an option. I don't know that we're going to have enough. All right, let's do this.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
And then we're going to block. Just try to go face. I'm just trying to set up the Leroy as Jenkins as quickly as I can because I don't think I'm going to win any sort of long-term battle with this deck or against this Dr. Boom deck, because he's got, at some point, he's going to get the +7 armor, which is really going to be pretty devastating, and a nice brawl there by him. Luckily I'm going to get back a few mechs from the Death Rattle, but he's also going to get off a couple of bombs, so it's a decent trade, I guess. And of course he gets his one minion that actually can do some damage, sticks around. Just bad luck. Bad luck all around. I think there's almost no chance I can get to a Mechathune. Yeah, the deck just isn't really built for that. And he can outplay me, too, in terms of having rush on all of these from Dr. Boom. And that's, I guess, the downside of a Hunter mech deck right now, is that it can just get outplayed here. Let's see. Maybe I should have gone face at that, but I'm going to drop down this, see what our tracking can pick up. And of course he gets his +7 armor, and so we're kind of back to square one. I was hoping that top minion would last a little longer than it just did, but what can you do? I may just have to use the Mechathune as like, well, it's not going to matter because he's going to trade here. They only do 2 damage. He's got this guy, which creates 2 taunts, which basically means that my Leroy is not going to be able to kill anything. You know, my Mossy Heart isn't going to be that effective. It can only kill this guy. So I'm not sure that I see a way to win here, especially with that. That basically puts him at lethal. Throw him down and concede. So a tough matchup for sure. I think this is where the deck is going to struggle, right? Is the late game against the warrior deck. So maybe we need to get it going a little bit quicker. Let's give it another shot and see how it goes. And I think, again, any sort of hunter deck, right, you're trying to be as quick as possible. But he got his deck going pretty quickly too, which is, you know, that's the challenge right now. And that's why you see this bomb warrior basically getting played by more or less everyone in the ladder right now. So let's give it another go and see what we can do. I think we'll trade off that. Yeah, we'll just take bomb toss. At least we can use that next turn. All right.
I wonder what this does.
We're just going to try to keep the damage going as quickly as possible with this deck.
Defend the gates!
Let's see if he trades here. All right. The whole bomb warrior deck is just very strong at like pretty much every stage of the game. I guess if you can beat it really early, it might be more effective, but I don't know. I don't see an easy way to beat Bomb Warrior right now with the current meta. And I think if Blizzard comes out with any sort of nerfs, it's going to be to this Bomb Warrior deck, just with how popular it is. Whenever there's been a deck that's this popular, I think about like the Quest Rogue, right, when the Quest came out. You know, they ended up switching it. They're going to have to make some sort of change to this Bomb Warrior deck. And we're going to just try to do this and get as many... I think I'm just going to hold off on attacking right now because he's just going to armor up way too much. We can't really trade, you know, without him gaining, you know, at least... Well, if we attack with this, if he doesn't trade that, you know, he gain at least 6 armor there and more if we have to use all three of these. That will be helpful at some point. Ugh. And the Mechathune again. Well, at least we get Spring Rocket, which could be helpful too. Just trying to keep some mechs on the board. Here's our friend Dr. Boom again. And so here's the problem, right? We're at 7. We've managed to do 0 damage to the warrior. He's going to throw up a shield next turn. We're just going to try to do as much damage as we can as quickly as possible and hopefully get some lifesteal with this Ziliax combo. Now, if we can get to next turn with it... No, it's not going to make it there. At least we get back up to full health. And he's dropping a ton of bombs into our deck, which is not going to be fun. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Trade for this. Now get some bombs out. All right. Let's see. At least we can get rid of a bomb with our tracking.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
That's not a bad trade. Or I shouldn't say trade. That's not a bad minion for it to hit. That actually is good for us. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure a brawl with all those bombs out is a positive. And I think we're gonna drop the Mechathune, right? Because it's gonna be difficult for him to do enough damage. Let's see. This does Yeah, so I think we drop this and see what he can do to stop that. Because we're never gonna, I don't, well, yeah, I don't think we can get to Mecha'thun. I don't think we can get to the point where we have no cards left in this deck and use a Mecha'thun. I mean, it really isn't built to use a Mecha'thun. We've just been lucky enough to get one both times from the Cybernetic, and even, as I said, the original deck didn't have that card in it. It had 9 lives in it instead. So I don't think there's a way I can get Mecha'thun to actually death rattle the way that I would, the way that you would play a Mecha'thun deck. So I think instead it just is a useful 10-10 for the moment. And then yeah, I think we just keep piling on here. So our Mecha'thun may win the day. We'll see. We'll see what he comes up with here. But I'm feeling pretty confident. Even if he drops down some sort of great, we can kill him. First off, we have 2 hero power, so any single minion that's left, if there's not a taunt down, spoke too soon, right? But our Mecha'thun also, if he kills the Mecha'thun, which I don't think he can, that actually is, yeah, so he does that. We still have enough damage to get through his, no, because he can attack with his taunt still. Oh, so we win. Thanks, Mecha'thun. So all in all, a pretty good deck here. So let's try it one more time and see how it can do. And again, what I like about this deck is it can win. And I think if we play something other than Warrior, we can see how it does against something else. It's very cheap to build, especially if you've got, there's very, very few cards. Are there any cards from this expansion? I don't think there's anything from this expansion. So it actually is a pretty effective and cheap deck, especially if you're somebody who, maybe doesn't have a lot of dust or doesn't have a lot of money in cards or gold or whatnot. If you've been playing since the last expansion, or the last 2 expansions ago was a lot of the mech cards. You probably have a lot of these cards. There's only 3 legendaries here. There's Leroy, which if you don't have him, you should probably craft him because he's almost always effective, and unless he gets Hall of Famed, in that case you get your dust back. He's a pretty great legendary to have. Ziliax, which is a must-have right now, and Boommaster Flark is the other one, and you could play this without Boommaster Flark, but I think, as you just saw, when you drop 4 bombs on the enemy, it makes it pretty difficult for your enemy to do a whole lot to not end up taking all that damage. All right. Let's check out Priest. I haven't played against too many Priest in Rise of Shadows. I know that there's a couple of Priest decks out there. I'm trying to think. There's been any super popular Priest decks. I know there's a Silence Priest deck I played against a few days ago. That was a pain in the neck. I think Crip had a Silence Priest deck that a few people have been using that I didn't really love, but I think it beat me. I can't remember. I think I was playing the Mech Warlock deck that I posted a few days ago, and I can't remember if I was playing it, if I was recording it or not. I think I want to do this and just trade. But yeah, there's definitely a Silence Priest that's been popular the last couple of days, and I'm trying to think if there's some sort of Resurrect Priest right now. I don't think I've played against any, but I haven't played the Thoughtsteal. I haven't played against too many priests since the expansion. It's been a lot of hunter and a lot of warrior. Not surprising, right? I'd say the warrior right now is probably getting played in probably a third of the decks. I think I've played against people. I think it's fair to say about one out of every three, and probably more, are using that warrior, kind of that Doctor Boom mech bomb warrior deck. And I played it. I haven't thrown it up on YouTube. I could definitely do a deck review of it if you want. I think it's a good deck. It's pretty easy to play. It seems to outpower most other stuff, but I don't know. I don't find it to be the most fun deck to play. There's not a lot to it. You just keep dropping the bombs and trying to hold off the game as long as possible to do as much damage as possible. But hey, people play what wins, and that's how Hearthstone goes. So maybe I'll do a deck review of it at some point, but it just seemed kind of overdone at the moment, and I think nobody needs a deck review of that deck at the moment. It's super popular. Everyone's playing it. You probably know what it does. I think I just keep going face, right? I think, with this style of deck, you just keep banging away at him. And I wonder, dropping a missile launcher here next turn with my coin could be a lot of fun. But I guess we'll see what he does first. Explodinator's a mech, but the fireworks tech is not. I think we... Right? Do we trade? No, I think we go face. Let him trade. Thanks. That's actually what I was gonna do, so I appreciate it.
I wonder what this does.
Yeah, I think we just keep doing this, right? Have fun with that. I think it was a huge mistake for him to drop a Mossy Horror. This is something you probably only see at low levels of play. And then that does 2 damage, and the next turn he probably will heal, right? Yeah, but he has nothing to take these out, so that should be lethal. Hey, so not bad. A little bit of a rough start there against the warrior deck, but crushes this priest with a little help from my own Mossy Horror. Nice of him to steal that and then drop him on top of all my bombs. You don't see that every day. But a very fun deck, a very interesting deck. Definitely is a deck that if you don't win early on, though, against that warrior, the bomb warrior deck, you got to do something about it. So if you like this type of video, definitely consider subscribing to my channel. Most of what we do is Hearthstone reviews. I do some stuff on Here's the Storm, and I'm probably going to be doing some other games in the near future. If there's a deck that you'd like to see review or some sort of other gaming type stuff that you'd like to hear about, definitely leave me a comment in the section below. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us today.